Hello friends! Today we are going to talk about one of my favorite topics, which is music theory. Woohoo! So if the thought of doing music theory makes you feel like cringy, I just gotta let you know, it's not gonna be super complicated, it's not gonna be like lots of hard work, but it will deepen your understanding of music and make music and the pieces you learn easier to play. So what's not to love about that? Alright, let's get started. So first of all, let's talk about scales. Scales are finger exercises, yes, but they are so much more than that. They are the key to unlocking the deepest musical secrets. Cue some epic music here. So basically all a scale is a pattern of notes that move stepwise. So say you're learning a C scale, it's going to start on a C, you're going to play a note up until you get to the next C, and then you're going to go back to the original C. I will play it right now so you can see what I'm talking about. So you've probably heard a scale before. You might have even played one. Basically, every single key on the piano has its own corresponding scale with its own pattern of notes. So some scales have sharps and flats, some don't. Well, only one doesn't, which is our good friend C scale. He's nice. He only has just like the white key, so it's nice and easy to remember. Knowing scales is really useful because it allows you to understand key signatures. A key signature is this situation at the beginning of the piece on every line of music, and it tells you what scale that the song is based on. So D scale, for example, has two sharps, so automatically knowing that, we know that this entire song is going to be based on D scale. This is a really simplified explanation, but it is the least you need to know at this point. Now, if you look at this song's key signature, you'll notice that there's nothing. But sometimes nothing means something too, which sounds like gibberish. But if you see this in your song, you can be happy because it means that the song is based on C scale, which means no sharps or flats. I just want to mention really quickly that we're talking about major scales today, not minor scales. That's a whole other can of worms, and we will get there. So just in case you're yelling at me and saying like, Allysia, C major isn't the only key signature with no sharps and flats. There's also A minor. Just trust me, we'll get there, but not today. So here's what C scale looks like when it's all written out on the staff. Notice all the finger numbers because this is a very, very important part of playing a scale effectively. A scale that spans an octave, say from one C to the next closest C, is made up of 8 notes, but you don't have 8 fingers. Well, I assume you don't have 8 fingers. Maybe I shouldn't assume that. Maybe you do have 8 fingers, but you probably don't. You probably have 5 fingers, which is what makes this maneuver here moving from finger 3 to finger 1. So super important. I'll show you what that looks like on the piano. So to play a C scale, what you need to do is play your first 3 fingers, C, D, and E, and then take your thumb and do a little swoop-de-swoop underneath to the next note, which is an F. And then what that allows you to do is play all the way up to that second C without having to do any awkward twists or turns. So I'll show you that again. 1, 2, 3, thumb, all the way to the pinky. And then to go backwards, you just have to think backwards. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, back to your thumb. And then you gotta put the third finger back on the E. E, D, C. And then you have enough fingers to finish. So I'll show you that in one motion. Today's piece is one that I wrote because a lot of the beginner pieces that we're learning are either classical or folk style, which are very direct type pieces. And I just wanted to be able to, I'll do this sometimes, but I wanted to be able to offer something that was more atmospheric in nature with some weirder notes to play around with. First of all, check out this key signature. There's no sharps or flats. Nope, nothing at all. So we can assume that the song is based on the notes of C scale. The next thing to notice is that the hands move around a fair bit in this piece, so let your blossoming knowledge of note reading and the handy-dandy finger numbers throughout be your guide. Notice here at the beginning that your hand's going to get extra stretchy. It's usually using finger 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, so that's kind of a fun little stretch there. And at the end of the piece, down hither, you have some harmonic intervals, so notes that are pressed all at the same time. Also, something new to note that we haven't done yet is this symbol right here, which is the sharp. And we will talk about that right now. So in piano, this symbol is called a sharp, not a number sign. And what it means is to ever so slightly raise a note. So for example, here's a G on the keyboard, and this note here would be a G sharp. And here's a D on the piano, and this would be D sharp. Sharps are the counterpoints to flats, which we talked about in a previous video. So flats mean to lower a note slightly, while sharps mean to raise a note slightly. So now I'm going to play through the piece, and I want you to pay close attention to the melody and how it moves. So did you notice what happened with the melody? It shifted from the right hand to the left hand about halfway through. See here, it kind of moves into the left hand here. And it's important to be aware of this so that the melody doesn't get lost. The melody should always easily be heard above all the other notes. So that's just something to keep in mind. And that's all for today's lesson. So I hope you enjoyed, have fun practicing, and as always, please subscribe to this channel if you want to keep up to date with things, and you can visit the website pianotv.net and give this video a thumbs up if you're feeling friendly. See you later. Loud vehicle rolling by there. It's like a tractor. It's a big tractor with dirt rolling down the middle of the street.